Good morning and welcome to day 76. We are finishing up the book of Deuteronomy today with chapters 32 to 34, and we'll be looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 2. So almost all of this last section is the Song of Moses, and there are some really beautiful things in here. This is one of those things that you should probably bookmark, and it's a beautiful song that you can go back to and read whenever you want to pick me up, or a reminder of who God is and everything God has done for us. One of the beautiful things that it points out in here is how dependable God is, and that God is there for us even when we throw mud at God and disobey and run around with a toddler's temper tantrum. We are reminded through here that there are many times that we have abandoned God, but God is always on our side. He may be judging us, but he judges with compassion. The last chapter here, there is a list of blessings for the sons and tribes of Jacob. And then we have Moses dying. But I love how it describes the very end for him, that he has clear eyes and a spring in his step. Moses is someone who's been faithful to God, and as it points out, there's never really been another prophet quite like Moses. As I was reading this, I was thinking, what will be said of us at the end of our lives? Do we offer a beautiful song to God? Do we offer blessings to those who come after us? I think, aside from the specifics of what's being covered here, I think something we can take from this last section of Deuteronomy is, how do we come to God? Are we singing our praises to God? Are we sharing with the people we know about the faithfulness of God in our lives? And what will be said of us? Have we lived life with a spring in our step? Have we looked clearly at the world? Have we been a blessing to others? So I think that's a great thing for us to reflect on as we finish up Deuteronomy. Now, with the end of Deuteronomy, we have finished the first 5 books of the Old Testament. This is called the Torah in the Hebrew Jewish faith. These are the books of law or books of instruction, and sometimes called the books of Moses. So we will be moving into some very different types of books in the Old Testament from here on out. Switching over to the New Testament, chapter 2 of 1 Corinthians, Paul has a great message here. Keep it plain and simple. When you're talking about Jesus, you don't have to get into all sorts of complicated theology and stuff. Keep it plain and simple. Talk about what Jesus did. Talk about who Jesus is. I also think it's beautiful how Paul talks about how God's wisdom is mysterious and goes deep. The reflection I have here is, am I comfortable not understanding everything? I think a lot of us have a desire to have all the answers, to know where we can go to understand everything. And I think we also want some really clear black and white, yes and no. This is right, this is wrong. This is clearly how everything is laid out. And God's creation is deep and varied. It is complicated. It is complex. And to try and understand all of this, it's just not possible. To understand everything that is in each individual person, much less the interactions of all of us within community, it's a mystery how it all comes together, and God holds it all together. So I think one of the things that we need to think about is, what is it that I am looking for from God? Am I looking for some straight yes and no answers? Or am I willing to find comfort in the mystery of God's wisdom in the world, and understand that I am not going to have all the answers and I'm not going to know everything? I think sometimes that's a really tough place for us to be. But I think going forward, I think that's an important place that we need to accept being, in order to show grace and love to all the people around us who are having a different life experience. So have fun sitting with those reflections today, and we'll see you next time.